There comes a moment when your body starts speaking louder than you'd like. Sometimes it's a little ache that shows up out of nowhere. Nights when you just can't sleep, or irritation that seems to come from thin air. And we keep pushing it aside, telling ourselves it's just stress, that it'll pass, that everyone feels this way. But deep down, something in us already knows. Something's off. The problem is, we don't want to listen. I know exactly how that feels. I ignored those signals, too. And that's exactly why burnout hit me so hard. It didn't come with a warning, but it came with force. Before I go on, let me say something important. If you're here, it's because you're trying to understand what's happening to you. And this channel exists for that. To be a safe, real space without judgment, where we talk about mental health in a human, down-to-earth way. So if that sounds like something you need, take a second to subscribe right now. That way you won't miss what's coming next, and we can walk this path together, one step at a time. All right, let's talk about these warnings, the red flags most people overlook because they seem small, but they're actually the signs that burnout is quietly moving in, and the sooner you learn to recognize them, the sooner you can change course before your body and mind simply say, enough. The first warning is exhaustion disguised as productivity. It almost looks like a good thing. You're always busy, always handling things, always available. People praise you because you get things done, and that even gives you a small sense of pride. But inside, your body is already in survival mode. You sleep, but you don't rest. You meet deadlines, but you feel strangely empty. Your mind won't stop running, even when the day is over. And still you keep telling yourself, it's just a busy phase. That's the trap. We confuse exhaustion with commitment. We think being tired means we're dedicated, when it's actually our body's cry for help. I remember a time when I bragged about sleeping only 4 hours a night and still getting everything done. I thought that meant I was disciplined. Looking back now, I see it was my body screaming for me to stop. The second warning is emotional detachment from the things that used to matter. That spark you used to feel when starting a new project, the joy of spending time with people you love, even the taste of your favorite coffee, it all starts fading. You keep doing things, but you don't feel them. Life turns into a routine you're serving rather than living. It's hard to notice at first because you're still functioning, but your energy slowly dims, like a candle still burning but almost out of wax. And the hardest part is realizing it's not laziness or ingratitude or lack of willpower. It's your body trying to save what little energy it has left to keep you standing. Have you felt that before? That sense of being there but not present? Sitting in a conversation and realizing you have nothing left to give, not even the patience to listen? If that sounds familiar, it's a sign, a quiet one, but a real one, that burnout may be closer than you think. The third warning is increased irritability and emotional sensitivity. Everything starts to feel like too much. The noise, the messages, the small demands. Every little thing becomes overwhelming. And worse, you start blaming yourself for reacting that way. The truth is, burnout wears down your ability to regulate emotion. It turns small frustrations into storms. I remember one morning I broke down crying because the coffee was gone. Sounds ridiculous, right? But that cry wasn't about the coffee. It was my body saying it couldn't carry one more ounce of pressure. And this is where I want to ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt okay, with a light body, a calm mind, and a peaceful heart? If it's been a while, maybe it's time to start looking inward with a bit more kindness. Actually, if you feel comfortable, share this in the comments. I'm starting to notice the signs. That one simple sentence might be your first step toward acknowledging that something needs to change. And don't worry, no one here will judge you for it. This is a space for listening and healing. Back to the next warning. The fourth one is isolation disguised as a need for peace. You start avoiding people, turning down invitations, keeping conversations short. You tell yourself you just need quiet, that you're tired of meaningless interactions. But deep down, it's more than that. It's your body trying to protect you from stimuli it can no longer process. Isolation is tricky because it feels like relief at first. You feel lighter when you don't have to deal with anyone. But after a while, that silence starts to weigh you down. Your mind starts whispering lies. No one cares. No one gets it. It's not worth talking about. And before you realize it, you've drifted away even from the people who could actually help you. I went through that too. I stopped answering calls, ignored messages, canceled plans. I told myself I needed time alone, but really, it was burnout pulling me into a cave. And the deeper you go into that cave, the harder it becomes to climb out. The fifth warning, and maybe the most dangerous one, is living on autopilot. You still do what you need to do, but without feeling anything. You wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. Everything turns into a blur. You don't feel joy anymore, but you don't feel pain either. It's like life has turned to black and white. That's the moment burnout is right at your door. And it doesn't arrive suddenly. It creeps in quietly, one ignored signal at a time, until one day your body just shuts down. And when that happens, it's not weakness. It's self-defense. I know how hard it is to face this. We live in a world that glorifies hustle, performance, and getting things done. But your body isn't a machine. When it starts sending you signals, it's not asking for more productivity. It's asking for care. The good news is, you can change direction before you hit the wall, but you have to stop ignoring the signs. You have to find the courage to look inward, admit that something's wrong, and start, little by little, rebuilding balance. And if right now you feel like you're at your limit, please know this. You're not alone. I've been there too, thinking there was no way out. But there is a way. And it starts the moment you decide to listen to yourself again. When burnout finally arrives, it doesn't show up like a sudden collapse. It creeps in quietly, slipping through the cracks of your daily routine, disguising itself as normal life. Until one day, you realize you don't feel anything anymore. No strength, no will, no anger, no joy. It's like someone hit the mute button on your soul. And the scariest part is that even then, you keep trying to function, as if sheer willpower could trick your body into holding on. I know how hard it is to admit that something inside you is falling apart, especially when the world outside keeps spinning, demanding, expecting, pushing, as if you have no right to pause. We're taught all our lives that rest is a luxury, that feeling is weakness, that asking for help is failure. But none of that is true. Burnout is the price we pay for living in a system that taught us how to survive, but not how to breathe. And this is exactly where the turning point begins, because recognizing those warning signs isn't weakness, it's courage. It's the moment you decide to step out of autopilot and finally start listening to yourself again. And yes, it's painful, but it's also deeply freeing. I still remember the day I realized I couldn't go on. I was at work, surrounded by deadlines, when my whole body started trembling. It wasn't just tiredness. It was a kind of exhaustion that felt like my energy was being drained from the inside out. I tried to breathe, but the air wouldn't come. I tried to keep going, but my body just wouldn't respond. That's when I understood. Either I stopped, or I'd be stopped by force. Maybe you're there right now, trying to hold everything together, telling yourself you can handle just a little more. But listen to me. No one is meant to live on the edge all the time. There's a real emotional, physical, and even spiritual cost to ignoring your body's signals. Burnout doesn't destroy you overnight. It eats away at you, slowly, silently, until you can't recognize yourself anymore. But there is a way out. And it starts with small steps. Steps so simple that, at first, they almost seem too small to matter. But that's exactly what your body needs: simplicity, softness, and presence. The first step is allowing yourself to stop, even if it's just for a few minutes. Stop running, stop pushing, stop trying to fix everything. Just breathe. Just notice what's happening inside you. It might seem small, but it's in those quiet pauses that your mind begins to leave survival mode and reconnect with the present moment. The second step is acknowledging your limits without guilt. We've been taught that saying no means you're lazy or uncommitted. But saying no is actually an act of self-respect. It's a way of saying, I have limits, I have a body, and I can't do everything. It took me a long time to understand that. I spent years saying yes to more tasks, more responsibility, more pressure than I could possibly carry. And you can guess what happened. Collapse, guilt, and shame. Until one day I couldn't fake it anymore. For the first time, I said, enough. The third step is reconnecting with what truly nourishes you. It can be something simple: a quiet walk, the smell of rain, a song that soothes you, cooking something you love. Burnout disconnects us from small joys, and that's exactly where healing begins. It's amazing how simple things can bring you back to life. I remember the first time I felt genuine pleasure again. It was while washing dishes and listening to music. It sounds silly, but in that moment, I remembered that life still had color. The fourth step is seeking support. And let me be honest, no one heals from burnout alone. Needing help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It could be a therapist, a friend, a support group, or even this channel right here. The point is, don't isolate yourself. When we talk about what we're feeling, the weight gets shared. And when the weight is shared, the path feels lighter. And finally, the fifth step, redefining what success really means to you. Burnout grows when we chase goals that don't belong to us, when we try to prove our worth, when we believe that love and recognition have to be earned through performance. But real success is peace. It's being able to sleep without feeling like you owe the world something. It's waking up and realizing that life, just as it is already enough to be grateful for. Maybe right now you're thinking, but how can I change all of that? My routine, my job, the expectations? The truth is, not all at once. Healing from burnout doesn't happen with one big change. It happens through small, consistent decisions. It's like rebuilding a house. One brick a day. You don't have to fix everything today. You just have to take one step. And you know what's even more important? Letting go of the guilt. Burnout isn't your fault. It's the result of a world that values doing more than being, performance over presence. But the fact that you're here, listening, reflecting, that already means something inside you is awake. And that awareness is where healing begins. I want to suggest a simple exercise. Tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? Don't analyze, just listen. Maybe it'll say it's tired, or it needs care, or it needs rest. And that's okay. You don't need all the answers right now. You just need to listen. When I started doing that, I realized the body speaks all the time. It asks for help in subtle ways, through fatigue, tension, forgetfulness, irritability. But we only hear it when we stop. Silence sometimes is the sound of healing beginning. And if you feel like you've already crossed the line, like you just can't push anymore, maybe this is your time to start over. Not with urgency, not with goals, but with presence. Starting over doesn't mean going back. It means building a new way of living, lighter, truer, more aligned with who you really are. Looking back now, I see that burnout was my breaking point, but also my awakening. It hurt, yes. It made me question everything I believed about myself and the world. But it also forced me to relearn what truly matters. Sleeping without guilt, resting without shame, saying no without fear, living without punishment. Burnout destroys, but it also reveals. It shows, with painful clarity, what no longer fits. And that's why, if you're going through this right now, I want to tell you, there is hope. What you're feeling isn't the end. It's your body asking for a new beginning. You're not broken. You're being called to rebuild yourself, this time more honestly. It might take time. You might have setbacks, but every small pause, every mindful breath, every "I can't do it today, and that's okay," is progress. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a winding road that, step by step, leads you back home, back to yourself. So if this video resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That way, we can keep walking this path together. And remember, you don't have to handle everything. You just have to take care of yourself. One day at a time, one breath at a time, and maybe one day soon, you'll realize that the weight that once crushed you is gone. Breathing feels light again. Waking up doesn't hurt anymore. And for the first time in a long while, you're not just surviving, you're living.